Hey, I wanted to put out there on D2L an example of how to calculate depreciation, or basically cost recovery, in a situation where a company acquires both tangible and real property, and also intangible assets. So I put this problem, or this fact pattern, up into D2L for my face-to-face class to work on, but I also wanted to put it out there for you guys in the online class as well. Basically, this company acquired some assets during 2009, and I want you to calculate the maximum cost recovery for these assets for the year 2009. Um, for those of you in the online section, you can forget about this Dropbox. I tell you about a taxable income limitation or taxable income before any cost recovery of 300,000, and then your job is to calculate the total maximum cost recovery. So the first thing you have to do is look at your tangible property and decide if you are in the half-year convention or the mid-quarter convention. Remember that mid-quarter means that you have to use mid-quarter convention if more than 40% of your tangible property was acquired in the fourth quarter. There is an exception in the book that talks about certain kinds of real property, realty, being included in this calculation too, but those are pretty specific kinds of assets, so we're going to ignore them for this purpose. So here, based on these dates, I've got these assets placed in service in these quarters, and you can see that 33% is placed in service in the fourth quarter, so we don't have to worry about mid-quarter convention. We're going to use half-year convention when we get to calculating regular depreciation or regular cost recovery. The next step is to look at Section 179 and determine if we can take a 179 immediate deduction for some of the tangible property we placed in service during the year. You have to think about the two limitations that exist when you think about Section 179. The first limitation is total acquisitions in excess of $2 million. Remember, you only get this $250,000 maximum deduction if your total asset acquisitions were $2 million or less. As soon as those total acquisitions go over $2 million, you reduce dollar for dollar this $250,000 maximum deduction. So here we've got $2,150,000 acquired tangible property. So we are over $2 million. So this excess over $2 million, $150,000, needs to come off this $250,000, and we're reducing our Section 179 deduction to $100,000. The second limitation is the income limitation. So our 179 deduction cannot take us into a loss position. So if it's at 300,000 right now, based on that, then and our 179 deduction's already been limited to 100,000, then this is not going to apply, because we're not going to, even if we get to deduct this whole 100, we're not going to go down into a loss position. The next thing to consider is additional first-year depreciation. From 07 to 13, there's an additional first-year depreciation provision that allows immediate expensing, same as Section 179, but this applies just to brand new property. We are in 09, so that's the 50% rule. There's this range of time where the immediate expensing is 100% of basis. So the question we have to deal with is how much is the additional first-year depreciation, and then which assets do we take these deductions out of? So the general rule with which asset to take it out of is to take the deduction from the longest live property, because that's going to give you the slowest depreciation deduction normally. So you want to take it out of the slowest. In this case, it's the 7-year property. So I took, and here's the example here, I took the 179 deduction out of the furniture, and I took additional first-year depreciation out of also the 7-year property. I just took the rest of the furniture and also the part of the equipment. Then we got remaining basis amounts. Okay, so you subtract to get the remaining basis amounts, and we have to figure out cost recovery on the remaining basis here. And I used these percentages. You can look at these comments to see where I got the percentages from. And I did the math, the multiplication, to get these amounts of regular cost recovery. And then you add all three of those together to get total cost recovery for 2009. Hope this helps. Send me emails or discussion board posts if you have any more questions about how to calculate this depreciation.